He's caught himself in a bit of a problem.
But was that Dark Templar going over towards the goal? Was that the first time that Harstem actually saw that base in this game?
Yes.
That stings.
Yeah, I think he's going to realize as soon as he saw that, oh, this is how this game played out.
Well, once you see the mineral patches, you're just like, yeah.
So do bear with us for a quick second. Not too sure what's going on. But as you can see, we're not in the game, and hopefully we will be very, very shortly be able to continue this. But an interesting start to this series, and Snute, you know, coming out guns blaring.
Yeah, didn't really seem like anything uncomfortable from him. Being able to get that gold base at the start, and not especially seeing that you're against a Nexus first, a build that a Protoss can't really contest your opening with. So you're basically saying, okay, well, I've been allowed to do whatever I want to do in this game. So basically, so you guys can see Snute's in the lobby. We're just going to recover this game right before the lag spikes kicked in, and we're going to get right back into it.
Yeah, so take a minute or two before we do get back into it so we can continue to chitter-chatter between ourselves.
Always a pleasure, Sean.
I know, it's good to have you back. When was the first tournament we did together? 2013 now?
Yeah, it was DreamHack Summer. That was like my first time, man.
I know.
Well, with you, it was great.
How you've developed, Nathanius, or Nathanius.
Things have just been wild ever since that.
You've grown
first time.
into such a beautiful flower over these last couple of years.
Thanks, Sean. How many times do you actually come to France? Do you come to France all that often as a European?
No.
No? This is my second weekend ever here.
I think I've been to France. I came for a very early Iron Squid. No, not Iron Squid. It was a different tournament. Gaming event way back when in 2012. Came for Season 1 finals. So I think, and the Heart of the Swarm release.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, like 4 or 5 times now.
Okay. You like France? I know there's like, you know, in America they tell us there's like a thing between the English and the French, so I wasn't sure.
That's nothing.
It's like a touchy subject for you guys.
No. We love each other.
We're pretty bad on that.
Yeah, so. We love each other, man. We're like neighboring countries. We're
all right.
Neighbors.
That's all I needed to hear.
It's like Americans and Canadians. It's a great relationship you have.
We're just kind of chill, you know.
Yeah, it's the same with English people and French people.
Yeah, you do have.
And we all have this very common interest here at this event, Nathanius, and that is StarCraft 2.
Beautiful thing.
That we're here watching and enjoying, and we'll hopefully be jumping into this game in a second because it is loading. We're just waiting for that.
Yeah, so it's just recovering back into the game. No worries. What do you imagine then for like? What does Harstem take from this game? Like, assuming that this push is unstoppable.
I think he just needs to know everything that's going on in the game, because I think if he'd known about this gold base, he could have kind of prepared himself a little bit easier with the defense on this third. Didn't need to push out so early. There's Snute just kind of staring into Kerrigan's eyes.
He's like, we just need to go back in there and press that A key a couple more times.
Yeah.
I mean, he set himself up beautifully with the opening. I feel like it's been a trend, though, for Protoss players to, especially against like Zergs that will do these builds, to just veto the maps with the gold bases, because they'll always find a way. Like, a lot of Zergs will force these builds, whether or not the Protoss like even opens aggressively, and they'll just have like really weird ways of handling it.
Yeah, I think Snute executed this really well so far. It's been like a really solid game from him.
Yeah,
chose the right strategy, pulled it off. Unit count to drone count was like perfect. I mean, if you think about when the Nexus was killed, how much he had left over. Didn't overbuild units, didn't underbuild units.
Yeah, you had a lot more leeway with the gold base, especially because it was something we didn't even need to touch on at any point, was if Harstem was able to make something happen. There's always that natural. Snute never took his natural in this game.
All right, so here we go. Continuing on. How can Harstem recover this match? He's recovered the replay, but can he recover the game?
Oh.
No, nothing? Okay.
I'm just like, yeah.
All right, so here we have an attack from two sides coming from Snute, who realizes the weakness of this is the limited amounts of force fields that Harstem has. He's going to attack from two sides to look to finish this match up. And he's going to come down, and Harstem is completely surrounded here. Force fields in the north. But that's about all he's got for force fields. A few more on this right-hand side.
Yeah, those are going to be his last few as he pops this Guardian Shield. Snute is just collapsing on top of him. He's got the Nexus Cannon and 2 Photon Cannons to help back him up. He's chewing through a lot of what Snute has, but if you look at the production at 19 more Roaches on the way. He's moving into Hive. He's getting his Carapace, and Harstem's losing every valuable unit that he owns.
Yeah, this is going to be game over here, Nathanius. He just doesn't really have any units left, and that robotics facility is going to get killed too, so that immortal won't be used. It is over. GG!
Snute takes game number 1 here, the DreamHack Open. against Harstem.
It's not over yet. Come back.
It's like, no.
Come back. It's not over.
My people need me.
He's like, I need to go to the bathroom. Really quickly. Yeah.
That was a great shot. That was a great shot. I need to tip the cameraman more. That was good.
But game one there too, Snute. Quite easy, quite convincingly. Didn't really look too difficult for him.
If we really think about it, you know, we know that Snute sees the Nexus first off of his gold base. He knows there's not really much Harstem can do. If Harstem were to have scouted that gold base, could he have actually changed anything in his build? Like, because I've heard from some people that like going for like, even just a Stargate, just because the queens can't move between the main and that gold very easily.
The Nexus could have been faster, right? And then the fold and overcharge earlier and stuff like this.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
And his defense could have been set. I mean, there's nothing he can do apart from just tighten up everything, be a little bit faster. Because he didn't really know what he was up against. If he was going to pressure a greedy Zerg, if he was about to be attacked from the Zerg.
Because I try to think about like the crazy scenarios where like when he makes that first move out as he's adding on the 2 gateways, and then doesn't really get much done. Could he maybe even just try to get in the Nexus before that? I don't know.
Hard to say.
I don't play Pro Rosh.
I guess we need to play
I was trying to ask an expert. I was on the list as a guest.
I'm not an expert. I'm a guest. I'm a caster.
Guest?
The expert's not casting. The expert we'll have to consult with once this is over and ask him all of our opinions. We'll make sure to write these down and get Wax Angel's thoughts on this.
That's true. I should have just asked him. I'm sorry.
But in this match, which is a huge game between the both of them, just a single best of 3 to round of 8 or going home in DreamHack Open, and having a round of 8 under your belt, kind of impressive already.
Yeah, that's
we
pretty
talked
good.
about it of the European players that were in this tournament, who's going to get top 8, who could get top 16. I don't think we really, I think we nailed it when we thought about the people that were going to be challenging for these spots, and Harstem definitely one of them.
And I think especially when you're talking about a player like Snute, considering his Season 1 WCS performance, there's points in the line at this point as well, right?
Yeah.
For moving into top 8. So that's another thing that, especially when you're talking about Snute, who was so close.
So close, but so far. And, he had a decent Season 1 performance in WCS, but he needs every little point he can gather as we make that road to the global finals at the end of the year. And this is, of course, one of the global events that StarCraft 2 has, and there's going to be a couple more from DreamHack throughout the year. But right now, it's a challenge between these 2 players. I know can we say the #1 European player? I mean, I think we can quite easily say that. I
feel like some of the pressure actually comes off of him from like Bunny's performance, even against him in like WCS, It's not, I think if you look, like Snute is, I guess you could more safely say he's like definitely the best non-Korean Zerg player.
He is, right?
And remember, he still has the results, but there's been quite a few other players contesting that mantle recently.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say 2014 Snute was that position and he wasn't really challenged. I think Bunny started to come close towards the end of the year, but in 2015 it is getting a little questionable whether who is on that top position. But, Snute challenging for that, continuing to hold that title. He wants to be that player that everyone looks towards throughout the year to beat the Korean players that travel to these tournaments, to play, hopefully, at the global finals at the end of the year. And we'll see. Right now, he's, looking decent. I think a lot of pressure was relieved after that map #1. I think maybe, the way the interview went, the way that Harstem was confident, the way that we believed in Harstem to do it too, and then you load in and Snute's like, oh, actually, no, this is going to be fine.
I think things that get really interesting is what map #2 potentially is, whether or not we're going to have to deal with more gold-based shenanigans. Although Vonnie's like the more conservative of the gold-based maps, though. Like most of the other maps that have gold bases.
Which other map is it? Expedition Lost.
Well, like,
and what else?
like Expedition Lost, and I think back to like older gold-based maps too. Like if you were going to make a play off of Habitation Station, for example, is usually for like something super aggressive. But it doesn't really have to be. Like Snute didn't need to use the gold base on Vonnie for cheese. He just used it to accelerate everything else that he did. But on like Expedition, it looks like I can read it from here. It's like, I think it's Coda for the next map?
Yeah, I think you're right. You got really nice eyes.
I don't know about that, but Coda, it's like one of the shortest titles.
Or Echo. Could have been Echo. How do you know?
It looked like a C at the start.
Okay, we'll see. So you think that Harstem turns this around, mate, or do you think it's 2-0? Because I think it's 2-0 at the moment.
If it's Coda, well, Coda or Echo, I
guess. They both play the same.
Yeah. Well, you don't have the rocks. You can't use the rocks to try to close off the third, but usually you can't really kill those rocks in time to prevent a third base denial anyway in Echo. So I'll kind of go with you on that one. Yeah.
All right.
It's a bit tricky.
The game is loading. Thanks for waiting with us here as Snute had to run off for a little bit there, but we are going to jump right back into this series in a couple of seconds as we load in. We're in the top 16 position right now, DreamHack Open here. We've seen a lot of decent games throughout the day. I don't think we've seen anything that's blown our minds yet, but I'm sure that will come over these next couple of rounds because we're getting deeper and deeper into the tournament. And here we are loaded successfully into map number 2 between these two players. Up here to the left-hand side, playing as the red Protoss player, it is Harstem looking to
like
challenge Snute.
Yeah, he must be jamming out.
He's jamming.
Let me ask you, Sean, what does Harstem jam out to?
One Direction.
All right.
I'm serious. I'm not joking. Down here to the bottom right-hand side is the blue Zerg player. 1-0 up currently, playing for Team Liquid. It's Snute. Looking comfortable.
Yeah, you know, when you get to this stage, right? I mean, these guys been, a lot of players have been here for quite some time. Of course, these two didn't need to play in the original 96 players that showed up at the beginning of the day. But, you know, a lot of that space is cleared out. Probably a little less warm for them, a little more room for themselves. They got more comfortable.
They got a big match ahead of them as well. Whoever wins this series goes up against the winner of Fantasy and Hyun, which I think we're going to be looking at Fantasy to take that one down. So if Fantasy does complete the victory, which we're expecting to happen, that's a big game for both sides here, Harstem and Snute. That would, of course, be played tomorrow. All round of 8 games are going to be played tomorrow from the start of the show tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. local time. It is going to be the traditional DreamHack Open show. The lights, the music, the business. And we are going to play every single game back-to-back. The players will be on stage. It's going to be a lot of fun. You've got to make sure you're here to watch that. And, of course, awake on the right times back at home to tune in.
Yeah, it's going to be badass. We have an awesome stage, awesome venue here in France. It's been
today
cool.
Has been grinding out the players to make sure from the start of the day where we had 96 players, we could have 8 by the end, and we're getting very close to that with already the first couple of games completed in the round of 16. But here we go, 2 builds shaping up. Spawn and Pool and Hatchery coming out from Snute, where it was a Nexus first here from Harstem, followed by Gateway, and now it's taken as simulators.
Well, already Harstem knows infinitely more than he did on Vonnie Research Station as far as, you know, what Snute is up to. At the very least knowing, okay, there's a hatchery and it's there. Not early enough to be a hatch first, so doesn't really have to worry about too much.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be quite content with just moving on to his game plan that he probably had planned out from the previous match. It's the same build, same probably strategy that he's going to go for, and let's see how successful it can be this time around.
And would you agree? Do you think I think this third base is a bit more exposed. It can be a bit trickier to deal with pressure, right? You know, for the Protoss player, like he has to extend his sentries really far in order to protect that third. Whereas on Vonnie, he can cover both the main ramp and the third base.
Yeah, there's been I definitely prefer Vonnie Research Station when you're tucking in the position in between the bases. But this one's interesting because the way that you deal with it is either you have the army up to the top on the third and or an army on the natural 2 to be able to force field with a cannon. But we saw Mana earlier take the fight actually out in the open, which was very surprising to me. He took it down here a little bit more south and took it on the ramp here, preventing the units from streaming in, and was force fielding this ramp, which was actually a different way to approach it.
If you can pull it off like that, it's definitely nice because the only way to really flank that position is going all the way around the east end of the map.
Yeah.
And if you expose yourself like that and the Protoss sees it with either an observer or hallucinated Phoenix, then they can basically just fight half your army once they, know what's up.
I think it's good to break the rocks on that right-hand side platform to prevent the way that Mana defended, but either way, we'll see. It's the 2 builds now started to take shape, and Harstem is so far just copying what he did in map number 1. We have the 2nd gateway, now the 3rd gateway. He has the same units he did in the previous match, but this time Snute, not with the gold base. No unit started yet, he's only just taking gases. And Harstem, with 3 gateways, can, as he did in the previous game, start to move out a little bit, deal a bit of damage. Slow this guy down.
Snute getting that roach warren up, you know, 6 minutes, 10 seconds, getting Zergling speed. He's not really cutting enough corners to have to worry, I'd say, about a gateway push. And this is the sort of thing that can, you know, bop a lot of Zergs if you're being too greedy, just rushing up to drone 3 bases.
Yeah, he's playing very safe now. He's got 2 overlords coming into the natural and main, having a look for what's going on exactly. He sees 2 additional gateways finishing, so he's adding out a spine crawler and even getting ready to build units. He saw quite late gases on the natural, but one big information he hasn't gathered is that the Nexus has been planted. That's 400 minerals and resources that He doesn't quite know
because
about it.
if you don't see that third base, then this screams, okay, he's got gateways somewhere inside, but in between where those two overlords went.
Yeah, he doesn't quite know what he's playing against. I mean, this is going to be very good for Snute to turn this defense into aggression because 8 roaches, a bunch of lings.
You need to see it, though.
He still doesn't know exactly what he's playing against. He's going further with the overlord now. He's still getting ready to defend and attack, but now he sees it, and now he has to turn this defense into an aggressive play. I don't know if he managed to get rid of the spine crawler, but he didn't build a layer, for example, so he's going to be late on roach speed. He's going to be late on hydralisk den. He's got that spine crawler that finished that he doesn't need.
Yeah, that cuts out a drone, the potential income, and the roaches, especially you mentioned the late roach speed, which will make it significantly easier for Harstem to get the force fields on this army.
So if Harstem defends this with all the late tech that Snute has had to delay because he thought he was about to be attacked, it's great. It's really, really good for Harstem if he doesn't die to this little attack.
Yeah, relative to the Vonnie Research Station game, he's already got the cannon done. He already has the Nexus ready for Photon Overcharge, so he's already dealing much better with this than he was on the last map. And now, with the sentries coming up and these Zealot weapons, yeah, he'll lose the cannon, but he should be able to force field these units away and make a little bit better of this.
Uh-oh. Well, how are these sentries going to die, though?
Oh, the Zerglings coming in from the back actually do a really nice job. He scoots a few of them over to the east side. 3 of them still remaining. He will clean up the roaches,
But I think this is okay. I mean, he lost a lot of sentries, but that's a pretty good defense there from Harstem. Yeah. He lost 5, but I mean, at the end of the day, all he had to do was not take a lot of damage from that. Yeah. Snute slowed down. He still hasn't, got any tech, and he's thrown down.
Oh, that's Zealot, though. Oop. He's getting a little bit dicey there as he actually slips in with a few of these lings. Won't kill the sentry. That Zealot will die, though.
It's the infestation pit coming down from Snute. What is he doing? Is he going up to Hive?
I have to imagine so.
Does he want to play Swarmo still? Does he? I mean, where do you go?
This is like the only map that like some people say it can work on because you have that very large amount of airspace towards the main. But I don't know if you make that a cornerstone. He starts the Hydros, and I think it's going to be for Hive. That's still that very late roach speed that you talked about. As late as the lair was, he actually didn't immediately start roach speed.
Yeah. And this is really good. By the time any tech units and decent units that could deal damage for Snute are ready, we're going to see +2 attack near completion. We're going to see Blink being added on. So everything's working really, really well for Harstem at this point. And it was all because Snute didn't scout properly. And it's kind of ironic if you think about game 1 to game 2. Little bits of information have changed the game.
Yeah, just straight flip-flops. It's really interesting. You remove a couple of the the variables like that gold base and not knowing that he even had it in the first place, and now Harstem's able to make just that. It really didn't buy him too much more time, but when you see that gold base put him basically 30 seconds ahead, like then suddenly on this map, if it were the same case, he actually can't hold on to that 30.
Well, it's Ling and Roach versus Stalker Sentry at this point, a very common trend we've been seeing recently, but Harstem's moving out in the middle. He does not know that this Zerg army. He's breaking down these rocks. He's having a look around. He sees no creep spread, which is a kind of an interesting thing. He'd be like, wait a minute, that's kind of good for me. And he now knows that these units are there.
Yeah, the Lings are going to try to run in. He has quite a few of them. The army will need to return home. Road speed has finished up, so it looks like Snute just wants to try to snipe this Nexus and get the hell out of Dodge, and he will be able to grab that Nexus. There's the force fields, though, so at the very least, Snute will have to trade out these roaches, but I think he can still get a lot. The Zerglings actually coming from behind, and they're going to be able to take out a few of these sentries or at least force some more force fields.
Was that worth it, though? Was it worth it to kill the Nexus to lose every single unit that he had? Because right now, the counterattack possibility, I think, is huge.
Yeah, what's the follow-up? He's got the Ultralisk on the way, +1 melee upgrade on the way, and just a handful of roaches and some Zerglings. He has these infestors out, but I don't believe he got pathogen glands, so even the fungals aren't immediately available. This is not actually a bad opportunity for a bit of a counterplay.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to build to kill the Nexus, but was it worth it to lose the entire of his army? And now this is going to be really interesting because Blink is done, +2 attack not too far away.
And look at all the resources Snute's banking up. He is preparing to go into Ultralisk.
It's going to be like a counterattack. He's going to counterattack. He's sending a lot of these units back to around this third. He doesn't know he's about to be attacked either.
This just makes things really, really complicated. Like, there's some defensive weapons force, but Harstem's army is so massive. And even when he starts those ultras, he's got quite some time before they actually finish. I think Harstem has a free pass to go to that fourth and clean it up, or I guess he could just try to kill this third base.
Yeah, he's going to get this third base, no problem. And at the same time, this has not been taken down this location yet. He's going to get a lot of these units. Well, he should be able to get a lot of these units. He's warping in some additional reinforcements to help use this. Blink being a key assistant here, but look at this, how do you stop that? He's got drones! Don't kill units very fast.
Like, yeah, okay, you can throw the fungals, but there's nothing to actually finish these off. Yeah, snipes one of the infestors. And there are 4 Ultralisks that are going to pop, but they won't all come out together, or at least it doesn't look like any of them are going to be coming out on this base. And without the upgrades, like 4 Ultras on their own, this army can actually handle that.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a Dark Shrine finish up, so DTs are coming into play as well, and that's just something Snute isn't prepared for. And Ultras are going to come in very shortly. They're going to charge down this ramp, so they break the force field, and here they go. And Harstem's like, how did you get Ultralisks so fast in this game? And he's taking them down slowly, but they are doing a lot of damage at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really just the slow sentries that are going to be caught, and he decides, okay, I'm going to recall out. He could have traded, but he realizes that the support units are what's going to make those Swarm Hosts, or excuse me, those Ultralisks much more powerful in the later stage. Snute did hang on to that base in the bottom left, so he's got something.
But he's lost his second and his third.
Yeah. It's a pretty tough spot to be in. The addition of the Warp Prism for Harstem is fantastic. He can even start just throwing those units around. DTs are moving in, as we can see. And like, what is Snute realistically hoping to do with this? I love that there's observer DTs with the army itself. And
all right, is Snute's army with these Ultralisks powerful enough to break this location? There's no Overseer with his army, so no is the answer.
Oh man, and DTs just wreck Ultralisks so hard.
Yeah.
There's no way he can break this.
Yeah, now there's Dark Templar going to the drone line as well on the other side, and Snute can't break that location. He's being harassed. He's lost 2 crucial mining bases and production facilities, and now he's being chased down these Overseers. Harstem punishes these guys for being over there and being so slow without their upgrades, and this is looking fantastic for the Dutchman.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice position to be in for Harstem. At this point, Snute doesn't have the income to actually switch his strategy in any way, shape, or form. The only tech he has access to are the Ultralisks and the Roaches. And guess what, Apollo? The Immortals are pretty damn good versus both of them.
Yes, they are. And another Dark Templar continues the harassment. This base now fully operational once again for Harstem. He's got 150 supply. He's building the right units to be able to combat what Snute is trying to make work here. He does have +2 attack for these Zerglings, not just, but it's just a bunch of Zerglings here. I mean, a single Ultralisk, it's just not a good enough army to handle what Harstem has.
He's not the hero that we need, Apollo.
He's not. And it's definitely not going to be the one that deserves this game.
No. Well, I mean, another one shows up, but I still think that quite turns the tides of this challenge so far. I really like Harstem's he's playing this one pretty patiently. He's continuing to mix in those very powerful units, and DT doing a bit of harass. He's at Hatch. He's like, okay, well, you're never actually going to get anything over there.
Yeah, this is a very difficult position for Snute. He's trying to get his economy back online, and it's taken a long time. When you lose 2 bases like that, it's not easy. And then he's trying to make these units work. He's going to swing around. But there's a lot of units that aren't that far away here from Harstem. It's very difficult to make these Lings and Ultras work in this position.
Like, you can't even dive in on the probes. Like, he whooped the Zealots in a line that blocked anything from grabbing the pylons.
Yeah.
And he sees the army. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can just max out. Like, Snute could not afford to do something like a Broodlord transition in the midst of all this. He was just trying to, as you said, recover those lost mining bases.
Yeah, and his economy still isn't correctly back up and functional. He's only at 60 workers. He's kind of slowly getting there. But in the meantime, Harstem has double robotics facilities. He's still harassing with Dark Templars. He's adding on Archons to his army, which are fantastic against all the Zerglings that are out there. And he's finally ready to move across the map. He's comfortable with his army size, and he wants to tie this up, obviously, to move to Game 3, where he challenges Snute for his tournament life.
And then, I mean, even this, just getting the DTs in the back of all of this, just completely annihilating the mining at this base. Even that Queen is very close to being picked off. Has to use the drones to hold that Dark Templar in position. But yeah, Apollo, I'm getting that vibe now. He has this base in the bottom left that he's finally going to send a DT over towards. But all the Lings are pouring over. Actually, the DT intercepts some of these Ultralisks in the center. And really now, Harstem just has to decide, do I want to put this in, do I want to push it in now, or am I going to wait, slow down? But it looks like he's ready to try to end this game.
Yeah, I think he's ready. These Immortals are going to do so much damage here. These Lings just won't do anything with 2 Archons mixed in. And Harstem, slowly but surely, he's going to do this. He's going to take this fight. And now we've got to see how well Snute can try to make this work with Ultralisks and Zerglings.
I mean, Ultralisks can do some work. With this many Immortals, all Harstem needs to do is target fire them down. He's got the Archons to clean up the Lings. Those do get swept away pretty damn quickly, but as we can see, the Immortals are just making short work of this. Even hallucinated Immortals mixed in. And, you know, even the hallucinated Immortals, they have a little bit of hardened shields, Apollo.
Yeah, look at this. Snute's fighting with everything he's got, but as Harstem moves and kites backwards, he's going to take this. There's almost nothing left, and the economy just still isn't there for Snute. GG! And Harstem
ties it up.
He does indeed. And few people are supporting him. as he's going toe-to-toe now with Snute in this all-important round of 16 game. He's a little bit chilly, but he's looking cool.
It's a tough, you know, you think about the way that Harstem played out the last couple of minutes of that game. There are moments where you can try to force things when Snute just has those 2 mining bases, but it's got to be good for your confidence. But okay, I'm just gonna max out. I'm not gonna get hasty with this. I know that Snute's a good enough player that if I make some sort of game-throwing mistake, he'll capitalize on it. But then you're basically like, you're in that mode. You're like, okay, he just has Ultras and Roaches. I've got Archons and Immortals. It's a nice sweep.
The thing is Snute's going to be looking at that series, or that map, sorry, and just saying, I can't believe that I helped you so much at the start of that game. I didn't know what exactly you were doing. I should have known what you were doing. And unfortunately, I helped you get to the position where you were in the mid-game, and, you know, Harstem took full control.
You make that dive on the third base, and you don't get it. That's a rough spot, because at that point, you've traded your whole army for, you know, force fields on a base, but the force fields aren't important at that point because the Zerg can't afford to do another wave of that without being all in, right?
Yeah.
So, Snute, you start to ask yourself, like, well, what could I have spent all those resources on if I wasn't going to make this failed attack? You know, could have just been super greedy on drones or this or that. But of course, those open up the door for Harstem to get aggressive too. So it was just a really good defense and a much better setup, really, from the very beginning.
Yeah, they're not even sitting that too far away from each other, just a spot in between, as we can see here. And I'm getting ready for game number 3 now. I'm thinking about what could possibly happen from both sides, but it's funny that this series comes down to just a little bit of information not gathered on both sides in game 1 and game 2 there. But coming into game number 3, as we do have the game loading for you now, it's gonna be cool to see which way they go, as you said. Is Harstem going to be aggressive? I remember the game that he beat Snute in WCS last year in like Season 2, I think it was, when he eliminated Snute from the World Championship Series. It was a Warp Prism and Immortal attack on King Sejong Station. Depending on the map, which I don't know exactly what it is until now. Expedition lost. What a final destination for this.
There's a gold base on this map, Apollo.
It is. Would you like to do some introductions, Nathanius? I haven't heard you do one in a while.
Sure thing. My pleasure. In the bottom left position, we have the red Protoss player from the Netherlands representing Invasion Esports. He is Harstem.
You were so good at that, you can do another one.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Always nice to get seconds, Apollo. In the top right position, representing Norway and Team Liquid, he's the Blue Zerg. Give it up for Snute.
Really happy to hear that Wax Angel is really getting engaged in this series.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's...
resident experts. He's a little bit biased towards Snute, but it's good to see him getting emotional.
Yeah. Well, Apollo.
Yes,
does this drone,
Nathanius.
Does this drone surprise us?
Nathanius. Can I call you Nathanius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call me whatever you like, baby.
Hey, nady. That drone is going towards the back side of Harstem's base, and we've seen this. And every time I've seen this, I don't know if it's failed. I've seen this strategy a lot.
You know, after seeing one of the weirdest games ever played on a proxy hatch in this position, it's become a thing.
It has, and I mean, for anyone that doesn't really know exactly what this is this hatchery is planted there to very shortly, when it's complete, have queens, have spines, have lings, to break the back rocks down,
that base
to allow a second entrance for a Zergling flood.
That base is everything but a base. That's your proxied production, your creep spread, that's your army. It's all going to be there.
I mean, Harstem goes out with a probe after going Nexus first, by the way, sees no gold base, is going to go up here, he's going to see no second base, and the first thing he's going to be like is, oh no, is this happening? What is going on? What is going on? And the thing is, the hatchery's not in the normal position, so he'll check there.
And he might check there. He won't see it there.
He's like, what's going on?
And he might even check the other gold base, because his probe only passed by the north one. And he's like, oh, these drones are leaving.
Yeah,
like, did you take the bottom gold? He's like, what's going on, man?
He must know by now. And the thing is what is he going to do to stop this? Because every time I've seen it, it's got like a 100% win rate. This build is imber.
It's pretty strong, Apollo.
But how does he do it? He's got this Nexus first down. His Cyber Core only just starting, so units like the Mothership Core are delayed, sentries are delayed. He now spots this, he knows what's happening, but can he stop it? And if he doesn't stop this, he is eliminated from DreamHack Open here in France. The Forge comes in for cannons to be made. Where are they going to be built? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, he has to get a pylon up on the top side of his base too, and this is really tricky because he has that Nexus in the natural. So if he commits really, really hard to defending this rock position,
I think he has to give it up. He has to give the second base, right?
He can still push Lings into the natural, exactly.
He has to give the second base up. This is like just gone. He could maybe, he can wall this off. He can build a cannon there, but he's got to get cannons at the back here. And maybe just build, he has to build a second wall.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good enough just to have cannons here, I don't think.
I mean, like, he needs everything focused here to stop this because this is, as you said, this has been just become super popular.
Yeah.
And it's not just because people like to be cheesy. This is a really, really strong build. It's very difficult to stop.
All right, so currently we see more additional queens being built. An overlord just now started for Snute, who can't build anything until that's actually completed here. So it's going to be a while. There's a sentry and a second one and down. Harstem is looking to lock himself on one base, and I think at the moment it's looking good. That's a single force field ramp.
But where does he go from here, though? Like,
that's where he goes.
He can box himself in, but he's, you know, Snute still could have at any point built drones.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Snute knows this guy's given up and is on one base, and is content with droning up a little bit more and not going for this link flood, which, as we can see, Harstem's fully preparing for. So it's a weird set of... I mean, it's just kind of a weird game because it's not happening, the attack, until now. 12 Lings are being built.
He's still, he's still.
But he has to do something, right?
I mean, the Nexus will have enough energy from Photon Overcharge.
You can build a cannon shortly here on this ramp. And if he holds both bases, both locations, Snute has a hatchery on the other side of the map with drones on it.
Yeah, thing is, you know, these cannons don't move, Apollo.
No.
So the spines are still really solid for any type of light defense.
So, I mean, what exactly is this? What are we seeing from Snute? Is this going to work? Here's the Photon Overcharge, so this area can't be attacked for a while. What is he building? Drones. 5 more.
Going up
layers
to a layer.
started.
Oh, boy.
Like, what is this game?
I have, you know, to be perfectly honest, most of the time I see this, it's like games end fast, but this has gotten a little weird.
This is weird. Snute has a base on the other side. He's taking gases. There's cannons seconds away. Look at that.
Oh boy. He's got the Overlord for vision, so there's no way to abuse this. He even starts a third. He starts a third spine.
We've got a robotics facility coming in. We've got an attack upgrade coming from Snute. I suppose he's trying to go towards Hydralisks at this point, but...
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because one of the ideal ways to deal with these types of spines is the Immortals can be microed against them, right? Oh, actually moves all the spines over towards the natural because he knows that wall isn't ready yet. Okay. Oh, he gets by the sentries!
Harstem.
Oh, no.
Big mistake there. He doesn't force field the ramp, and Snute gets in with a handful of
He's going for the pylon. That's doing warp gate as well. Well, the spine crawlers are hitting the robotics facility.
What is going on?
I mean, if he gets this, then there's no warp gate. If he gets the robotics facility with his spines, well, that was really close.
He stops that, but he's getting the robotics facility here.
Can he target that? Can both spines hit that? Okay. He should be able to get at least one.
I mean, he's moving the spine now, and he's going to try and bring this down. The Queen gets trapped in. Harstem is in a bit of trouble. He gets one Immortal out. Is he going to keep this alive? He's got to try and get rid of that spine crawl. That single Immortal dealing out so much damage here. He's going to be able to keep this alive for sure.
I mean, he's really trying to kill that Robo facility before the next Immortal comes out.
Oh, he canceled the Immortal.
He won't be able to get it. It was very close. One more hit away, actually.
Oof. He cancelled the Immortal there, the second Immortal. I think he thought that was just going to die that for robotics facility.
That spine hit the Immortal like once or twice. That if he had focused it down, he would have had it.
Hydros are on the way though. Double Immortal production. And he's going to clean up this spine as well, or at least attempt to. He doesn't want to go too far. Hydros about to pop. If he loses sentries, and look, the drones are just going to rush this location.
Yeah, he knows if he grabs those, then Harstem's in a world of hurt.
Yeah. More spines, no, spores, they are being built and added on. The Hydra's got to walk from the other side of the map. What? The robotics base down now, so we're going up towards Colossus. Creep is being spread everywhere. That single robotics facility is down, so he's only working off one at this moment.
Well, this is just madness.
This is madness. Madness. Madness.
Don't see this every day.
Well, the Hydra is coming out in quite some numbers now. The problem is does he have what it takes to deal with them? It's kind of hard for the Hydra, and that's actually a really good grab. 4 Hydras go down there for free. Great grab there by Harstem. I was about to say, it's going to be difficult to deal with the Hydras, but at the same time, they have to attack our ramps.
And he can't rebuild this. He can't rebuild this because there's creeps right here. He can't rebuild this wall.
No, he can't. But very shortly, Colossus. And that is a big problem. A massive problem for Snute.
Yeah, he does get this Warp Prism out on the map as well, so suddenly that massive headache to look at. He does not have Hydralisk speed. Is he really going to catch this? He's actually very close.
He's not going to get it.
Oh, he sees it. But
He's trying.
That Hydra damage output. Oh my God! He gets the War Prism. Well, now, like what?
That's not
I don't even.
All right, that first Colossus is on its way, and it's just Ling, Hydra, or at the moment, Hydra Queen. Hydra and a single Queen. Zergling's being made now. Just 2 of them.
Not a lot.
But the Colossus is everything. It's going to be supported by 5 sentries.
I mean, if he can fight this, if he get like a spread of all his Hydras before the Colossus is out, then that's just a huge mistake.
But the first is just popped. It's out now. There's the second one being built.
Yeah, that'd just be a huge mistake to lose that.
And it's being hidden. Harstem is hiding it.
He's pocketing that Colossus. He knows that Snute, it'd be pretty risky for him to push up. He's going to just go to the cold base. Oh, boy.
This is not your usual StarCraft game, that's for sure.
No siree.
And now we are going to see this at least. The Extractor taken down? No, he loses a couple of Zealots, but I suppose he can do that from there. Just the Immortal could target that down, but the Hydra's dealing a lot of damage. In a moment, we are going to see these Colossus used, and it's going to be such a surprise for Snute. He has nothing to deal with them. And then we're going to see this push come from this left-hand side. Thermal Lance now just being researched. That was slightly forgotten there, or maybe he just couldn't afford it, but...
It's still so wild. Like, he can't, Harstem still can't leave his base without Snute knowing. So what Snute really just needs to avoid is being caught off guard by those Colossus.
He's starting to clear the creep, though, which is really nice for him. He's got this gold base working as well, but he just doesn't have anything to deal with the Colossus. He's just a high amount of Hydralisks, which are going to take to the high ground. There's a single sentry there that does keep these units in, allowing Harstem time to reposition. 3 cannons dealing out a lot of damage, but still, Colossus tech has not been revealed. Harstem has these pocket aces up his sleeve, and he's willing to show them very shortly, and this looks like it's going to be the way he eliminates Snute from DreamHack.
This is a really nice spot, and actually, if Snute were to go down this tunnel by those rocks, he could get force fielded. He could actually get force fielded in between the ramps and actually just get crushed by the rocks.
It's going to be interesting to see what Snute does once he knows about the Colossus, because he still doesn't know yet. He's going to take one of these cannons down. It's going to be revealed very shortly, but more and more Hydras get taken down. And for the first time, he's going to see, no, still hasn't seen the Colossus, but he will do in a second, as Harstem's going to take this down. And now he sees it for the first time, and you've got to be panicking. There's 3 Colossus. He's got absolutely nothing to deal with this. He's got to leave this area. He has to retreat. But the Hydralis is stuck. He's going to spread around with his Hydralis to take one fight. And this is going to be it. Snute must defend, must fight, must attack this. But it's not going to happen. Colossus destroying everything, Nathanias.
A phenomenal hold from the start of this game. This very aggressive, strange play from Snute as Harstem takes double the supply of the Team Liquid Zerg.
Harstem is going to eliminate Snute. GG! He eliminates Snute from DreamHack and finds himself in the quarterfinals. A massive victory over Snute there. And Harstem advances to the next round. Big win.
Hard fought by Harstem in that very wild Game 3 after an ugly start in Game 1. He made a couple of adjustments. The map change especially helps a little bit. Moving into map 2 where he tied it up, and then Game 3, that's not a situation that you practice very often.
That was just understanding what he had to do. He's probably never played that type of game before, but that was great, and a safe series to say the least there, Nathanias. Richard and Wax are back with us. Very safe series. Thanks for joining us, guys. What a wild one that was. Oh, I don't think your mic's on at the moment. Sorry, buddy. I introduced you a little bit too soon.
Yeah,
welcome back. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'll take full responsibility.
It's a lot harder than it looks, this hosting.
I know, I'm so bad.
I could probably do what you do if I just had like 2 months practice, kind of like Stefano, I think.
Yeah, you'd be better too.
Yeah, no doubt. And I got this prediction right. My boy, I made up for him. Like, I'm so happy that he actually won. You saw how much it meant to him at the end, he went crazy. Like, obviously, I love Snute to bits, respect him as a professional. I think he's a great ambassador for the game. One of my favorite moments in StarCraft was when he won the Home Story Cup and, welled up and everything with the emotion of winning the tournament finally. But yeah, Harstem, man, just like, he's a legend.
Yeah, it's another round of 8 exit for Snute. 2 tournaments in a row. Round of 8 Season 1 finals where he got eliminated by Bunny. And then we have another round of 8 finish him. That's really actually detrimental to his WCS career this season. He needs those points.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's sad, but, someone's got to win. And
What do you think of the Wax?
I mean, I guess Snute's still trying to find his way to play the new ZVP right now. I thought the last game was very telling in terms of Snute went for the Expedition Lost proxy hatchery, cheese that everyone's been doing in the last couple of weeks. And for a while, it did seem like that kind of build was, I don't know, at points it seemed overpowered. But at the same time, what people were saying was, if Protoss prepare for it and they don't get too greedy on probes, and they just know it's coming and they prepare accordingly, it's not, it's not like an OP build. It's something you can stop. And I think Harstem's initial defense was excellent. He stopped probes at 22. He got 3 cannons in the back. He did everything basically right on initial defense. Like his plays afterwards weren't like completely ideal, but because he got the initial defense done so well, he was always gonna roll him with some sort of 2-base build. Like Snute was always gonna be so hard pressed to do anything, transition to anything there, and all Harstem had to do was just mass troops off 2 bases, and he was gonna win.
Some thoughts from you, Nathanias, on that series. I mean, you were kind of.
I was kind of there.
Yeah, kind of there.
Involved.
Yeah. So what did you make of it all?
I liked Harstem's adjustment in game number 2. I think it's so cool because it's sometimes very difficult in commentary to get across like the little edges that players can get themselves with build orders and whatnot. And Snute getting away with the gold base, like if you compare game time from when those bases went down and when the push came, it's from game 1 to 2, it's not more than the 30-second difference where he's able to actually cancel that 3rd base and get a massive advantage off the Roach Link push. Yeah. And that 30-second window is enough in game number 2 for Harstem to hold on, and that wins in the game. I just think that like moments like that are really cool because you can see where just that extra little bit that Harstem's able to get for himself gives him the opportunity to take a much closer win.
Well, it's a great day for the Netherlands. It's Rotterdam's birthday. I think he's been doing a drunken birthday stream, and this might just be his present because Harstem's flying the flag. He's with Smix now.
Thank you very much, Richard. Congratulations, Harstem, on moving on to day 2 and making it to the top 8 show. This is your first time, so I'm sure you're ecstatic. I actually heard you scream so loud in this building. Everyone heard you. But before we get there, let's talk about that game 3. It was a very interesting game, very scrappy, and very well done on your part. Walk us through that game.
A lot of Zergs do proxy hatch on that map. But they put it a little bit closer to the rocks, so the rocks go down quicker. So I was a bit surprised that I saw it this far, but I played against it so much in preparation for E-Laser Showtime in WCS. I played it maybe 25 times, so I had a pretty good plan of what to do. His follow-up was a bit different, but I knew the moment I was hiding the 3 Colossi and I didn't see that he took a gold base, I was like, okay, this is going to be rather easy to win now. So it might have looked a bit scrappy, but I was pretty confident in my hold, actually.
Well, prior to this game, you had said that because of WCS, you've already been practicing a lot of PvZ. Now, Snute was round 1. Round 2 will take place tomorrow. You'll be going up against Hyun. How do you feel going into that matchup?
Yeah, Lilbao beat Hyun earlier, and I'm pretty okay friends with Lilbao, so maybe he can help me a bit there. I rather would have had a Protoss, actually. It's been my best matchup for quite some time, but I keep on hitting Zergs and Terran, so I'm not sure what that's all about, but I think Hyun is actually more doable than Fantasy. I have a lot of trouble with Terran, so I'm happy that Hyun won.
All right, now headed into the round of 8. Harstem, after 3 years, you've been in the round of 16 6 times, but this is your first time in the round of 8. You've made it to the big stage show in front of all the lights, all the crazy fans here in France. It must feel amazing.
Yeah, I've been very close a lot of times, actually. Lots of 2-1s. I think 4 or 5 times I lost 2-1. So I kind of, when I was playing against Snute in game 2, I thought, damn, I lost again. But then somehow I managed to still win it. I'm not even sure I was that far behind, but I kind of felt lost. But then in the end, yeah, I'm really, really happy. I had a lot of words.
Well, last but not least, I want to give you a chance to say something because I know that you have a lot of fans. You are, as Richard Lewis said, you're a happy-go-lucky guy, you're a really playful guy, but at the end of the day, we all know how much StarCraft 2 means to you and how much this top 8 placement means to you. So, a word for your fans.
Oh, thanks everyone for cheering for me, even if sometimes it doesn't go all too well. I hope you keep on cheering for me, even if I don't win next time, and stay safe.
All right, thank you very much, Harstem, and best of luck tomorrow in the round of 8. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it'll be Marine King versus the last French hope left at this tournament at DreamHack Open Tour. It'll be Lilbo. Stay tuned.